Hello everyone, welcome to this training. Today we're gonna look how to fix them up in Resolume. We have a setup here with 5 hexagons. They all have 60 LEDs in it, RGB. We're gonna go through how to make a fixture in Resolume, and then we're gonna see how to patch it and how to then map it for a composition. So first of all, we're going to create a fixture that we're going to then use. In this case, we're going to create a 10 pixel long fixture because that's one side of the hexagon, because Resolume can only do linear fixture at the moment. So to do that, go into Applications, Fixture Editor, and then you have this window opening up. And on the left here, you can see there's some fixtures that are already made. Some come with Resolume. I think LED 16 comes with Resolume. But we're going to make a new one. So we're going to call it Training ESE. And here we have our parameters. So we can see we have width of 1 and height of 1 as a standard. We can change that. So we're going to have width of 10 and a height of 1. So that gives us 10 pixels and 10 channels. Here you can change the color space. So in my case, they're RGB, but there's a lot of different ones. Owl is if it's just luminance, which is just on or off. So if you have like a dimmer and you wanted to pixel map it, you could do it with this. And then all the other ones are fairly self-explanatory by the name. So we're going to stick with RGB because that's what we want. And we can change the distribution so we can make them go left to right, right to left. Doesn't really matter in this case because it's just a line, so we could just turn it around. But if you were to make something like a matrix, like the matrix we have in the Foundry, for example, then you'll have to look up which way the channels are laid out, and you can select which way they're laid out here, and you can see it here. It changes the numbering for your channel, so it gives you an idea of where the DMX channels are. So let's go back to the one we want, which is like this. And that's pretty much it for making a fixture. You can add parameters that are not pixels if you want. So if you go down here and press plus, you can add new parameters. So in this case, it would be address 31 in our fixture. And you can put a value to it that goes between 0 and 255. This can be helpful if you have things like masters in your fixtures for any reason. You can set them up and to a set level that you know what it does, and then you can have that level there. And if you want to change it, the position, you can put it before the pixel or after the pixels, and then we will automatically change the number of the address. But we don't want that because they're only RGB, so we're gonna remove that and close. So it automatically saves, surprisingly for Resolume. It's probably the only thing that automatically saves. So if we go into application preferences, there is this part called DMX. We're not actually using this because this is just for the inputs. I'm just showing this just in case you were trying to find the outputs here. But this is just to get DMX into Resolume, not to output it. To output it, we have to go to Output, and then we go to Advanced. And here's something I already made, and this is what we're going to make towards the end. But we're going to create a new one for now. So we're going to make new. And this is, you might get, if you're starting just a new Resolume show, or if you want to start a new Resolume show, it says screen visual output. We don't want to screen, so we go to plus, and we go to DMX Lumiverse, which is basically a universe. And it automatically puts a fixture in it, just has to. So for now, that's good for us. Here you can see it says no output. So if you click on it, there's also to target IP, it says no output. The quickest way to get an output out of it is to right click, and it comes up with some options. You can either broadcast. I would not particularly recommend that, because obviously if you have multiple .NET nodes in your network, you're going to send to everything. So the better way to do it is to select your actual on the node name. If that doesn't appear, you can just go over here and put IP address and put an actual IP address that you know that you put your .NET node on. In our case, we don't need that, so we're just going to put pixel mini. It knows the target IP, and so we have. That's how we set up the output. At the moment, there is nothing going on in our scene, so we don't see anything on our hexagons. So I'm gonna put something on. So Matt showed before how to map projectors or video wall, and then usually you go into output and show test code. You can do that as well over here, but it's not going to help you as much because sometimes you want to see which way around your pixels are and which way around your strip is orientated. And this kind of static picture is not very helpful for that. So what we're actually going to make, which is how we usually pixel map stuff, is make some lines. So go to sources, lines, just drag some lines. Let's take this test code out. So put some lines on. I usually make them not very fuzzy, fairly thin, and then we make them move. And now you can see something is turning on my LEDs. So now that we have this moving strips, we can start aligning output. So I'm going to go back to advanced. I'm going to delete this screen because we don't need it. So here we have our first side, which you can see is for the bottom hexagon is the top left side. And to the right, you have a lot of information, so you can adjust color if you want to. For some of the reasons, one of your strips is red colors or something like that. Your brightness and contrast and things like that. And also you can see star channel is 1, which is what we want. It also gives you a nice dip switch count. So if you wanted to put another number, you can see actual dip switches. We don't have any lights for dip switches in the Foundry, but sometimes they come around. This is how you use to quickly get the right dip switches. And also you can see on here kind of shows the output that you should see, which is quite helpful. So now we're going to try to actually mimic the position of this strip to the actual hexagon. Then the way I tend to do this is I make one hexagon of one shape that is repeating, and then you can just Control C, Control V. They'll set up and move and make it as many times as you want. So you have the whole thing. So this is fairly similar to what you do when you projection map. You can make your pixel bigger if you want, or smaller. Try to make them kind of the actual size of compared to the real thing that you're trying to map, because it makes it nicer to look at. It's more organic. And then you can turn it around and things like that. So we are making an hexagon, so we know all the angles. So it's going to be a minus 30 degree angle in this case. And now you can see why I want something moving to see if I orientated my my strip correctly, because we could also have it all the way like this. You could see that now the pixels are going up instead of going down, and you would know that this is not the way we want it. So we could flip it back somehow. And so now you can see this is what we want. And then if you want to add another fixture, you can just go here and press DMX fixture, and it adds one. So you can see it automatically added the last one I made. If you want to use a different fixture, you go here towards the right again, and here you can change it. You will automatically change it. It also automatically addresses as the lowest possible address in that universe. So that's for you. But you can again you can change it if you want to. And we are going to just rotate this by 30 degrees. You can also just, eyeball it, but I quite like not to do it properly. And now basically you start laying down your fixtures as they are in real life. So 90. Like I say, at the moment I'm taking most of the composition, but what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna then select it all and then resize it so it's kind of the right size. So what we can also do now is select this three, Control C, Control V, and you can see it creates three more with the right addresses. It creates them in the same place, but that's all right for us. I don't know if you can actually flip this. So let's see. I don't think you can. So I'm gonna do it one by one. So I don't have to be here. And here you can, if you can see now they're all on. It's hard to figure out which one is which. So you can just click this square, and it kind of turns it off. Normally, it also turns off where it is, but pretty easy to solve. So next one, we don't want it there. Then again, you can see the bottom left corner, this hexagon is going up instead of going down. So this is, do this. -150. It takes a bit of time to get this properly done, but once you've done it for one of your shapes or one of your rows, for example, of fixtures, then you can quickly copy and paste. So it's not too bad. So now you can see we have these hexagon properly mapped. So all the pixels going down. What we're gonna do now, because it's too big for the size of our composition, we're gonna select them all and then resize for pressing shift so it keeps the right scale so it doesn't squish any parts. And here you can see we have one of the hexagons. And what I can do pretty easily now is do Control C, Control V. We created another one with the right addresses. And then we have to just put it in the right place. Which in my case is about there. And And because of how we built these hexagons, they are not all starting from the same spot. So I have to just rotate it by the right amount. This is completely the opposite of what I want. So I have to go this way. And now you can fine tune your position. And now you can see it's doing all right. Obviously, going only downwards, you can only see in kind of one dimension which way they're correct, but it's good enough for this. I'm just gonna do it again. So Control C, Control V. You know, select it all, move it to the right place. It's about somewhere over there. Then we have to. Oh no, it's the right direction. And you can say we are missing one. And that's because you can actually see over here it turns red. So this one you can see starts at 511 and goes to 540, but there's not that many channels in one universe of DMX. So what we have to do is to create another Lumiverse, which creates another light. We're gonna take out this in a second, and again, Epic so many. And now you can see it's turning on. What we can do is we can cut this, and we can Control V. Now it's back here. We don't want this one, and we want this to be channel number 1. There it is. And again, we can just select one of the hexagons. I have to only select one hexagon. And then Control C, go into the universe, just Control V. You can see created one. We can put it in the right place. We can see again, this is not the right place. We're going to turn it around a bit. And then we do the last one. For some reason, it's trying to add them to Luminous number 1. It's not what we want. Press duplicate. We can just put this one over here. Again, it needs some adjustment because of angles. I'm going to adjust the angles up here and then adjust the position. So that's the right angle, so -1. I'm going to put it kind of in the position. You can say they're knocking out by string everything. Again, we can select it all, move them all, maybe resize it a bit. Snap it all. Yeah. Okay, pretty well mapped. Maybe this one needs to go a bit lower. And maybe this one a bit higher. It's pretty easy to adjust, so don't worry too much about getting it perfect first try. So easy. It's pretty quick. So yeah, we can save this. I'm gonna go back to it just to show you what you can see in the DMX output. This is kind of just an idea of what you can see in that universe. So that's universe 2. You can see each fixture and where it's patched. And if you wanted to repatch it, you could also just drag the corner here with the little dots. I don't know if you can actually see them. And then just drag it around, and you can readdress the fixture if you wanted. So obviously, it doesn't really make particular sense when they're all flatten out on DMX output. But if you look over here, you can see your output, and you can see that that's pretty much what we're getting. So the hexagons are not perfect, so they're not exactly 10 pixel on each side. So some of them are a bit off, some of them are a bit more on, but it's close enough. And if we wanted to check that the rest is properly aligned, we could just change the rotation of our lines, something like 90. There you can see we're doing pretty well in terms of adjustment. There's a couple maybe that need a bit of fixing, but not much. So yeah, that's pretty much it. One thing worth mentioning is each of the fixture counts as a slice, so you can do kind of things that Matt showed with slice transform in the first video. Yeah, that's up to you. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for how to patch and map fixtures. They're a bit easier than projectors because they're just pixels and you put them in the right place in your composition. In this case, I was doing a composition just for the pixels, so I made a composition fairly small. Obviously, if you're putting both pixel and projection together, make your composition for the projection and then just put the pixel in the right place, and then you can just make them bigger if they need to. Or if they're too big, it doesn't work as well. Some other things you can change in there is the universe that you're on. So in my case, I'm using universe 1 and 2, because those are the two universes I have set up on my little wireless hardware node to do this. They change things like opacity. So like, for example, if you have some lights that are very bright and some that are not particularly bright, you could change them to change the opacity of it. I'm changing the opacity of Lumiverse 1, you can actually see all the one on Lumiverse 1 are a little bit less bright, which helps with the camera. It doesn't look as nice in real life. But so, for example, if you had one set of fixtures that was too bright, you can, and it's from one universe, you can just change it. You can also, adjust the color if you have fixtures with different color profiles and you're that bothered by it. You can fix it there. I can fix it per fixture as well. So in case you have just one fixture that for some reason is more or less bright, you can just kill the brightness or increase it. Hope this was helpful. But if you have any questions, just feel free to send me a message or something. This is pre-recorded because my internet is a bit shit. But have a good day. Hope you have some fun trying to do this. You can just do it without an actual output. Obviously, you won't see it, but it's pretty self-explanatory. Just looking at it over here. So yeah, have a good day.